Welcome to another episode of The Modern Hotelier. Today we are joined by Jill Wilder, president of Aptech. David, what were some of your favorite takeaways from this conversation?
Well, Jill's just one of those people that she makes you feel like your family, like somehow you're related to her and you could just go over to her house and have a meal. And the fact that she's been with Aptech for 40 years, I think says it all.
I agree. Her focus around people and her customers is top notch. And I think that's what really has set Aptech apart. In talking with her, just like you said, David, it comes across so genuine. So I understand how she's been able to be successful in hospitality technology for 40 years and excited about the acquisition with Jonas. So we hope you enjoy this episode.
Enjoy it. Welcome to The Modern Hotelier, hospitality's most engaged podcast. I'm David Malilly.
I'm Steve Karen.
And I'm John Boomhofer.
Steve, who do we have on the program today?
Yeah, David, today we have on Jill Wilder, president of Aptech. Jill has been with Aptech for over 38 years and is known for a hands-on leadership style that has helped make Aptech an industry frontrunner. Aptech is the leading provider of business intelligence, enterprise accounting, and budgeting and forecasting to the hospitality industry. Welcome to the show, Jill. How are you doing?
Good, Steve. It's good to see you again.
All right, great. So we're going to jump in, Jill. We're going to go through a real quick lightning round,
Sure.
some quick questions. We're going to get to learn about your personal background, your career, and then we're going to dive into some industry topics. Sound good?
That
All
sounds
right.
good.
Here we go. What's something you wish you were better at?
Delegating.
What's the most used app on your phone?
Wow. Probably Outlook.
Got it. What's a luxury you can't live without?
Oh, goodness. Wow. Probably my phone.
Right. If you could trade places with one person for a day, who would it be?
Oh, that is a great question. Probably one of my grandchildren.
Wow. And what's the best piece of advice you've received?
Be myself.
Got it. And last one, what's your favorite season of the year and why?
Summer. I love hot weather and sunshine.
Got it. Good.
That was great, Jill. So now we're going to move on to your background a little bit, kind of what makes you tick. So you were born and raised in Pittsburgh and you still live there.
Yes.
How did that shape you into who you are today?
Pittsburgh is a great city. People don't realize how wonderful it is. It's got many, many ethnic parts to it. And people are overall friendly. Because many people immigrated here, their families became Pittsburgh based, and it was a new family. That family was made up of the people you went to church with, or you worked with, or you lived near. So it became a very friendly, helping each other kind of a city, and it continues to be that way. You'll find if there's a family in need, businesses, neighborhoods, they all jump in to help that person. So that has really helped me in forming who I am today. Those qualities are just there now. Everyone helps each other out.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Mhm.
So you went to Robert Morris University. What did you major in and what made you stay in the Pittsburgh area?
Well, I didn't have much choice about what I went to school for. My dad
Right.
was a CPA, so I had to have accounting somewhere in my life. He, of course, wanted me to take over the family business and run his accounting firm, but that was not for me. But I did love accounting and I did love business. So that was my major was in management and accounting and computer science. So I kind of put a mix all the way around. The great part about Robert Morris at the time I went there is it was an extremely focused business university. And so even if you were an accounting major, you still got marketing background and sales experience and all those other kinds of areas. So it wasn't like you were just singly studying one topic. You got an overall business degree.
That's great. So I have to ask this, living in Pittsburgh your whole life,
Uh-huh.
if I'm coming there for the first time, what's a hidden gem or maybe something I have to do while I'm in town?
It's funny because we had our first customer advisory board meeting last week. And many of those folks had never been to Pittsburgh. And we intentionally wanted to have this first one here in Pittsburgh so they could come and see what Aptech called home. Probably the most impressive piece of Aptech is it sits in amongst three rivers and two mountains per se, hills or mountains. And when you come through the tunnel to see the city for the first time, it's absolutely breathtaking. You're coming out of darkness, and suddenly this city and the water and everything is just in front of you, and it's absolutely beautiful, assuming the weather's good.
Right.
And they were thoroughly impressed with that. As kind of a fun event, we took them to the Pittsburgh Pirate game. The Pirates aren't the best, but the park is absolutely gorgeous. And in that background, again, is the beautiful scenery of the city. So that would be the one thing, it would be to see the city with lots of museums, lots of history, because, Pittsburgh's Heinz and Pittsburgh plate glass and Iron City beer and those kinds of things that everybody's familiar with. And all those are great fun parts of Pittsburgh to see. But the city overall is just beautiful.
Couldn't agree more. It's
Yeah,
a beautiful city. I've been there a
absolutely.
couple times. So,
Uh-huh.
well, that was great. So now we're going to move into your career, how you became the president of Aptech. So, out of college, you worked for a country club
I
as an accountant. What
Yeah.
did those early days teach you that you still take with you today?
Well, it's a funny thing. When I went to work, I had just come out of school and I had learned all how to do everything computerized. And the two ladies who I was working with were brand new to computers. So I had to train them on the computer side. But the benefit that I got was I learned how to do things with pencil and paper and how to make sure things balanced and how to double check things and proof things. And that has helped me many, many times. So in accounting, we always laugh and say we go back to the T accounts when we're trying to figure things out. Still to this day, if we're trying to figure out how to write a program, we go back to those T accounts that I learned way back.
That's great. And so I guess one of the things is, having been at Aptech for 39 years, almost 40, what's kind of made you stay there?
People. Hands down, it's the people. It's, and this is real prominent in my mind right now, having just been with the customer advisory board. It is a unique set of people and the longevity of those people that have worked there. It's, very typical that people have worked there 15, 20 years. When you love what you do and you love the people you work with, why, you have no interest in moving elsewhere. And Aptech continues to grow. My job is never, ever the same every single day. And that's just great. Our customers are our partners. So it's not like you drop software and run. You're with them long term, and our customers have been with us long term. Some of them have been with us 25 years. And that's just something to be said about Aptech's values.
Sure, sure. So, for those not familiar with Aptech, can you give us a little bit more about the background of Aptech and what sets you apart from other accounting softwares?
Absolutely. So, Aptech was founded back in 1970, and it's always been in the accounting software business. It actually started way back then with country clubs and doing accounting software and also handling golf handicapping. So back in those days, we had lots of different industries that we worked with. We worked with law firms, we worked with hotels, we worked with AAAs, we worked with country clubs. There were lots of different industries, but it was always accounting was the basis of all of that. And years ago, Interstate Hotels was based here in Pittsburgh, and they were our number one customer. And when the Windows world came about and things needed to be moved and we needed to rewrite things, we needed to take a good look at what were we best at, and hands down, the hotel industry was by far our best. We just were embedded in that more so than any of those other industries. So that's why we decided at that point we would become hotel specific. And that's where we've been and remain to be and intend on staying there. People have said, haven't you gone into some? We've been there, we've done that. We just want to stay where we are, work with the customers that we have. We don't want to be the largest. We just want to service our customers the very best that we can. Okay.
That's great. And you recently got acquired by Jonas Hospitality.
We
Can you
did.
tell us a little bit about how that process went about with Jonas?
Absolutely. We're about 6 months in to our
Wow.
acquisition. We were acquired the very end of October. That was an amazing process to go through, and as the president of the company, when I look back now, it just seems completely overwhelming. But it was a decision that, Aptech was privately owned by a family, for the bulk of its years until it was recently sold. It was at the point where we needed to grow and investment needed to be made in the company, and we needed to spread our wings a bit, and, we needed to move on from being a small family business to make those things happen. So we went through a process, a whole analysis process. We had many bids on the business, and ultimately we had to decide who was the best fit for Aptech. Hands down, it was Jonas. Jonas and Aptech have many similar values. They value their customers, their products, and their employees, and they work in a decentralized mode. So Aptech remains Aptech. We're just part of Jonas. And they have a great diagram that they do that they ultimately want to have every offering available to the hotelier. So if you want to work with one vendor, they'll have all the solutions right there for everyone. But if you don't, that's fine as well because they're great integrators. Aptech became a primary spoke of that wheel, being the accounting and the business intelligence and the budgeting and forecasting. We had the back of the house to complement that whole solution. And so it's great because Aptech remains to be Aptech. We still have the same employees. We still are in Pittsburgh. We don't have to change any of those things. We just benefit for the innovation and the growth and the opportunities to expand and take ourselves farther.
That's great. Everybody's looking for all-in-one system these days, and this gives hoteliers that option to work with multiple companies under one umbrella. I love the
Absolutely.
business model and love that you're part of Jonas, our great company. So now that you got acquired by Jonas 6 months ago, still pretty fresh,
Yeah.
what's next for Aptech?
Well, pretty quickly, we can move quicker now because we have a bigger resource pool to go to in many, many different ways. But one of the greatest things, and you'll see this at High Tech, is we've already brought three new products to the industry. Those are a brand new budgeting and forecasting module, which we call TVNG, which is Target View Next Generation. We've brought a light version of our accounting solution for the boutique folks and the single properties that need a solid hospitality based accounting system, but they don't need all the bells and whistles that a bigger hotel or a management company were to need. That's our PVNG Lite. And then we also are starting to complement some modules on there. So we've added a fixed asset management module to that accounting solution. So just like Jonas wants to be the best of breed and bring all those things together, we want to add some additional modules to make it a better solution for our customers, whichever pieces they need.
Sure, that is great. Y'all have certainly been busy, that's for sure.
We sure have.
This episode is sponsored by Jonas Hospitality. Jonas Hospitality is a family of technology brands creating innovative solutions for the hospitality industry. Our companies are connected via the Jonas Arc integration engine, allowing hotels to break down silos between departments and eliminating the need to compromise on their technology. Choose from a growing list of industry-leading solutions, including PMS, POS, CDP, CRS, SPA, accounting, marketing, distribution, kiosks, guest engagement, and activity management to build your own custom platform that bridges the gap between best-of-breed and all-in-one solutions. Our portfolio includes leaders in hospitality such as Jonas Chorum, Springer Miller Systems, SpaSoft, Aptech, Leonardo, Visergy, Book Assist, Ariane, Tangerine Global, and Jonas Unify. Quit compromising on your technology. Join the thousands of hoteliers who trust Jonas Hospitality to solve their technological needs. Visit jonashospitality.com to learn more and get started today.
So now we're going to move on to the industry thought, kind of thought leadership section of the podcast. So in your opinion, working in the accounting side for almost 40 years, what do hoteliers want from their accounting and financial systems? And how important is it for them to streamline operations through automation?
Mhm. Ultimately, they want results quicker and accurately. So they want the most accurate results quicker, and that's what everybody's striving for. But when you're coming from our side, what we're really trying to do is not replace people. but streamline processes. We all see labor's still a number one issue in the hotel industry. It is in others, but really in the hotel industry. So any kind of automation that can be done, any kind of streamlining that can be done to processes to help that controller or that director of finance to get the information more accurately without any chances of human error and quicker. And when you integrate, of course, the information comes from the source system, so it's going to be more accurate and they don't have to do any keying, so the labor amount is reduced. And you can use that when you bring over data from any kind of source system, and you can also do it when you implement things like scanning. Popular function that we brought to the industry several years ago was the ability to scan accounts payable invoices, so no one needed to enter them. So they're scanned and put into the accounts payable system for review and approval. So that data entry portion has been removed. Those are the kinds of things that we're constantly looking for to streamline that. Integrations with banks, being able to reconcile on a daily basis now, not having to wait till the end of the month to do that kind of reconciliation. Anything like that is where we're continuing to put our focus on, not to replace people, because the intention is not to replace people. It's really just to provide information more accurately and faster into the hands of the decision makers, whether that's the controller, the director of finance, the general manager, or even the management company or ownership group. How do I get that information to them quicker? Hmm.
Well said.
Hmm.
It's great. So this is our second conversation, and what's refreshing is that you, Aptech, are so focused on customer service, and that's just for me very refreshing to hear. So, what advice would you give to a hospitality tech company or companies about how to really do a better job providing great guest service?
Number one, personally answer the phone. Number one. Your people in your service department have to want to help people and they need to want to speak to them. Not email, not text messages. They need to care. And it was in that customer advisory board, the Jonas folks said to me, "We've never seen customers love a vendor more than these customers love Aptech." And every single one of them said Aptech's gem is their service department. And they always get a person. One of the clients said, "I've never waited more than 15 minutes to have a person physically call me back." Yeah,
Wow.
from an Aptech service person. And that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's just that's number one. If a tech company thinks they're going to shortcut that, their service ratings are just not going to be top notch.
I love that because I feel like hospitality technology is not known for their great service. I mean, David and I both come from the technology space, and I've heard horror stories about how once they bought a product, they never heard from their customer support. So, just that is your number one priority at AppTech is so refreshing to hear. So, kudos to you.
Yeah, I started the department with that intent, and it still remains that way today. And it's really great because that adds to the partnership that we like to make with our customers. Our customers know our people. They know they kind of know if they have children or not, and what's going on in their lives. And the same way for our service people know for the customers. And so it helps because maybe it's a busy time for a customer and they're really in a tight situation. They don't have to call and say, "Hey, I'm really trying to get this out." Our folks already know, this company has a 3-day deadline to get to this point, or they've got to have a forecast every Friday. So our folks are on top of it, watching, making sure things are where they need to be for those people. Yeah.
Incredible, incredible. So, the hospitality industry right now is kind of in an interesting place. Can you share your thoughts on the state of the hospitality industry as a whole right now?
Yeah. Everybody's talking about artificial intelligence. That's the thing. And how am I going to use artificial intelligence? Well, we've had artificial intelligence in our business intelligence 3 years now. It is a great tool, but it is not a replacement. And I did an article not too long ago about leaving the hospitality in the hospitality industry. You need to use the tools to help you, but don't take the personal touch out. Artificial intelligence is great to give you information quickly and to help you make decisions. But don't let artificial intelligence be your decision maker. It can assist you, but don't let it replace somebody. And if you feel that it's going to, you're not going to be satisfied because the information is not perfect yet. So I'd say, keep your good thinkers on top of this artificial intelligence. Give them the ability to use the tools and things that they need, but don't try to replace them or replace the decisions they make with technology.
Great. And so, what advice would you have for someone who's looking to be president or in a leadership role in hospitality tech?
You have to understand your people, understand the jobs they've got to do, and have a respect for that. I don't want our folks to ever feel limited or not have the things that they need to do the best job that they can for our customers. So don't try to shortchange those things. Understand your people. I still can take a support call. I may not be the best at answering it at this point, but I will sit down with a programmer, help them figure something out. I'll balance somebody's report if they're having an issue and need some help. So don't be afraid to sit down and work with your people rather than constantly telling them how to do things. Sit down and be arm in arm with them. In the beginning, I said delegation's probably the hardest thing for me. I tend to like to be involved in lots of things. And so I stay involved. And maybe that makes me work a lot of extra hours, but I feel like I have my hands in things and can understand the business and the pulse of the business at all times.
And you've been in the industry for, like I said, with Aptech for almost
Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen the hospitality industry change quite a bit
Absolutely.
over 40 years. Is there something, a trend or something you're seeing in hospitality right now that's exciting you?
Putting the people back into the industry. I think we walked away from that for a bit. Everybody was concentrating on letting machines talk to each other rather than people talk to each other. And maybe COVID played into that. But anymore, that umbrella of hospitality, I think, is just bigger as we now have remote working and hybrid environments and everybody's everywhere. It kind of feels like this big hug is coming along in the hotel industry, and everybody's saying, you know what, we really do know how to be good at this. So let's all put our best foot forward and do it.
Love that. We could all use a hug.
Yeah, everybody can use a hug every day.
You bet, you bet. So that was great. So David and I have been asking you questions this whole time. So this is a part of the podcast where we turn the tables and let you ask David and I a question.
Okay. So what's the number one thing you're going to look for at high tech?
Ooh, great question. David, you want to go or should I?
Yeah, I think it was very funny. Well, it's not funny, but robotics. I mean, there's all these things, especially just stuff like cleaning floors or vacuuming things like that. And it seems like I was surprised last year there wasn't at least a handful of companies that were really. I would thought there would have been more. So in other words, I saw two or three companies that still were selling phones for guest rooms, you would think there'd be some robotics or something at a high tech.
Yeah,
And I haven't really seen that. So I'm hoping this year there's more kind of innovation rather than just the same
same
companies
old
that
thing,
do the same things. Yeah.
right?
Very
Yep.
nice. I'm excited. I don't think I've ever been more excited for a high tech than this one. I think we're going to have a busy time at high tech. We're just doing booth interviews. So I'm excited to, chat with the vendors, kind of see what's new in the industry, what they're working on, hear kind of how things have changed since last year. David and I are also talking at HSMAI. Really excited to do the podcast on stage there and then just to see everybody. I mean, this is the event where it's like, I feel like every time I turn around, I see somebody I know, and it's so good to be in person, like you're saying. And it feels like a hug when you're just running into your friends kind of everywhere you go. So I think that's what I'm most excited about. It's been a year since high tech, and I am ready to be back.
It,
So
it is a very unique industry. You just never know, and you just look out for each other. You could be competing neck and neck with someone, and yet you still go over, give them a hug, and say, "How are you doing? How have you been?" And I just think that's very unique, and I love that
agree.
part. You know,
Agree.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it's fun too when your competitors send you opportunities and you can send, I think we're good at that in the
mhm.
industry. We don't tend to poke at each other. We tend to complement each other in the areas that we're all best in. And I think that makes us all better for what we do.
Absolutely.
Agree.
Absolutely. So, last question we have for you. Our
Okay.
producer, John, has been sitting and listening the whole time. So, we're going to kick it over to him for one last question before we get you out of here.
Okay.
First of all, I've loved hearing this conversation and just your energy and your focus on the people in the industry. I think it's awesome. Since you guys work so closely with customers, I'm curious, what are some of the things that you see when you're like onboarding new clients? Like, what are some of the biggest issues you see with hoteliers in their accounting, and maybe some quick things that they could do, or like some simple things they could do to make the biggest strides in like figuring all that side of it out?
Yeah. John, you're going to laugh at my answer. The core of a best accounting system is the chart of accounts. And that's why I say you're going to laugh. The chart of accounts, good grief. But if you spend the time to build the chart of accounts, and now we've got this wonderful guide, the version 12 of the Sally. If you spend the time kind of matching your business to that chart of accounts, the accounting software comes easier because it kind of you've put the time into kind of putting your business into that. So then when the software does its work, it's giving you good results because you've put the time into setting it up the way that you wanted it. And that goes for any of the products. A strong chart of accounts will help you budget easier and forecast easier. It'll also give you better reporting results, so you're doing less maintaining and maneuvering and making things look the way that you want them to. So as crazy as it sounds, if you put the work into the chart of accounts in the beginning and make sure it matches what you need, things will go much easier and it'll all fall together much quicker.
Well, that does it for another episode of The Modern Hotelier. This is the part, Jill, where you can let people know how they can either get in touch with you, Aptech, Jonas, what events you guys are going to be outside of high tech, maybe along with high tech, where you're going to be. So plug away.
Absolutely. So we're going to be at the hospitality show as well as high tech. We'll also be at the hotel data conference, and then we'll be at a lot more regional shows. We've decided to venture out into some of the regional areas to put Aptech's name back out there for our intention of taking on some new customers. You can, of course, come to Pittsburgh to see us if you'd like to, but you can go onto our website and see us from there. You can also get to us from the Jonas website as well. And you can just pick up a phone and call us because I can assure you that one of us will answer the phone without any issue.
That's great. Well, that does it for another episode of The Modern Hotelier, hospitality's most engaged podcast. Whether you're watching or listening, we appreciate you and hope to be with you again soon. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
This episode is sponsored by Jonas Hospitality. Jonas Hospitality is a family of technology brands creating innovative solutions for the hospitality industry. Our companies are connected via the Jonas Arc integration engine, allowing hotels to break down silos between departments and eliminating the need to compromise on their technology. Choose from a growing list of industry-leading solutions, including PMS, POS, CDP, CRS, SPA, accounting, marketing, distribution, kiosks, guest engagement, and activity management to build your own custom platform that bridges the gap between best-of-breed and all-in-one solutions. Our portfolio includes leaders in hospitality such as Jonas Chorum, Springer Miller Systems, SpaSoft, Aptech, Leonardo, Visergy, Book Assist, Ariane, Tangerine Global, and Jonas Unify. Quit compromising on your technology. Join the thousands of hoteliers who trust Jonas Hospitality to solve their technological needs. Visit jonashospitality.com to learn more and get started today.
You made it to the end of The Modern Hotelier. Thanks for watching or listening. The Modern Hotelier is produced by Modern Hotelier Media. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube, or subscribe wherever you get your podcast. If you know a good guest, sponsor, or have media needs, feel free to reach out to us at hello@themodernhotelier.com. Thanks and have a great day.